All right. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of our State of Decay 2 new player guide. Thank you guys again for all the supports you guys have been showing this series. I really do appreciate it. I hope this eventually, can help some of you guys who are newer to the game understand, the new system and just the game in general. Because State of Decay does have a lot. It does have a lot of little things that you got to kind of just learn and it takes time. It definitely takes time. It's very, very overwhelming game because you as a new player, you don't really know what you have to do and what you can kind of put to the side and ignore. And, especially starting in the tutorial, this tutorial definitely pipelines you, it puts you and tells you to do certain things, and some of the things that the game tells you to do aren't even ideal. Like last episode they wanted us to go claim an ammo outpost. I would never advise any player in the very, very beginning of a playthrough to go and claim an ammo outpost. Then said the only reason why I did it was because the game required it for a mission, but outside of that, you'd never want to do so. This playthrough is going to be kind of fixing some of those mistakes and explaining why they're really not viable. Like ammo outposts, like the only good thing about this outpost here is for traps. Like say I had we'll get into this later on, but say I had infestations that were sending out hordes to attack my base and it was traveling this road, this would be a good base to interrupt, to catch the zombies before they got to my base. But why do it there when I can just do it here? You know what I mean? And then it will cover this whole entire area. There's plenty of things to do. So first things first, we're going to undo some of the mistakes that the game had us make, like building this ammo outpost. So as soon as you're done with this, you can actually tear it right back down and rebuild it somewhere else. Now, what I do early game is I generally focus on food in the outpost. Now, you can build gardens, you can build farms, hydroponics. There's multiple different ways to gather food. You can get survivors and teach them a fishing skill and they'll gather 2 food a day. So there's plenty of ways that you can gather food. My personal way that I do it,
put a bullet in my head.
Early in the game, is I focus my food in outposts. So the way to check whether you need food or not is you come over here to your base screen, and this right here is your resource box, okay? You click on this, and it actually gives you a breakdown of all of your ins and outs. So for instance, we have 11 food. We're losing 4 food every day, okay? And that's because we have 4 survivors, and each survivor is eating 1 food a day. Now, as you go up in the difficulties, your survivors actually eat more food. So in Lethal Zone, I believe they eat 2 food a day per person. So if this was Lethal Zone and I had 4 people, I'd be losing 8 food right now. So this is what you want to do. You want to come in here, you say, okay, we have a medical bay in our base using 2 medicine a day. So eventually this is going to hit 0. All right. And we have food going out every day, 4 food a day. Eventually this is going to hit 0. So I could say I have 2 days worth of meds left, and I have about 2 days worth of food left in game. So that gives me 3 hours, because every day in game is 40 or hour and a half. So that's the things you want to start taking into consideration, is just check your ins and your outs. So I know, okay, here I'm losing 4 food a day. I'm going to get a food outpost to try to make the bleed less. Okay, so that's the number one most important thing about outposts I want you guys thinking about, is use them to stem the bleed on certain resources. And we're going to start with food. Now, food outposts are actually more effective in higher difficulties, believe it or not, because they actually give you more food a day compared to lower difficulties. But let's get over here. We're going to start with this outpost here. Now, outpost placement is kind of you can put any building you have available that's available for food. You can use it. All right, let's deal with these zombies real quick. Now, like I showed you guys, I have a gun. I have bullets in the gun. But early on, you want to make sure that you're not wasting your ammo if you don't have to. And then on top of that, as you fight with melee, you level up these skills. So I didn't really go over this last episode, so let's start to explain a little bit more about your individual survivors. You have your cardio skill, you have your wit skill, fighting, and shooting. All of these skills will level up based off of you doing things. So if you're sprinting around, running a lot, dodging a lot, your cardio will build. If you're looting or doing stealth kills, your wits will level up. Fighting, swinging any kind of weapon, you'll level up your fighting skill. Shooting, obviously by shooting. And then your 5th skills, whether you know cooking, mechanics, or whatever, those all level up based on doing certain actions also at your base. So there's ways to level up all this stuff. Now, the main ones you want to focus on realistically is fighting, because what happens is every time you level up fighting, your maximum health increases. And then the same thing with cardio. As you level up your cardio, your maximum stamina increases. So those are like my 2 that I like to focus on early game. They will just passively level as you're doing things, as you're going around and looting and fighting and stuff. So it's not like you really have to go out of your way to level. There is ways for you to go out of your way and level that are a little more efficient that we'll get into later on in the playthrough. But like I was saying, passively, these kind will just upgrade. So just remember in your head, melee early on, if you focus on melee, you're going to build your health up a little faster. Plus, it'll teach you to be a little bit more efficient resource-wise. So, right now I have enough spots for 2 outposts. All right? And like I told you, you don't really need this ammo outpost. But when you deconstruct an outpost, what happens is you only get a percentage of the resources that you put to claim it. So if I spent 300 influence to claim the outpost, you might only get 230 back. You know what I mean? So they take a percentage off of what you spent. So right now I don't need to break this down, so I'm not going to, but I'm also I'm just going to leave it here. We're just going to leave it until I need another outpost, then I'll tear it down. Because you start off with 2 slots that you can build outposts in. So before I loot this area out, I'm going to claim this as an outpost like I did with the military one, because it allows you to loot faster and it gives me somewhere to store.
Okay, folks, this new outpost is fixed up. That said, I think we could spend a little more time upgrading it.
So now that I have this outpost, you come here and you see now we're only losing 3 food a day. All right, because our food outpost is providing us with 1 food every day. Now, that doesn't seem like a whole lot. You know, obviously, we're still losing 3 food a day. But as you loot and gather resources, we'll have a lot more days worth of food built up. There, see, our wets just went up by
Nice.
There we go. So we just got another bag of food that we'll throw in the trunk. Get that back to base. And I'll deposit these seeds in here. Now, if you want more out of your outposts, because the outposts, they actually do more than just provide you with food and stuff, you can upgrade your outpost, and that will give you another food. So instead of giving me 1 food a day, I'll get 2 food a day. And then you max your outpost out at level 3. So if you get it up to level 3, you'll get 3 food a day. Now, I would never advise you to get a level 3 outpost unless you know for a fact that you're going to stay on this map for a really long time. Say it's going to be like your forever community, and you know you're not going to move that outpost. That's the only time I'd ever focus on a level 3. Don't go above level 2. If you need more food, just get another outpost. But even early game like this, if I want to upgrade this outpost to get another food income, I have to spend 800 influence. Screw that. I'd rather just go and build another level 1, which is also going to give me 1 food a day. And I don't have to spend that extra 500 influence. So you want to make sure that you're only getting level 2 outposts if you have to. If you have a free slot like we do, I could tear this down and just go get another food outpost for half the price. I would definitely do that first. But I can survive right now off of 3 food a day with looting. If you guys feel that, you're feeling a little bit of food pressure, hey, get another food outpost if you have to, or use this additional base slot if you have to build a garden, because this will also provide you with 1 food a day. But I like to save my base slots for, anything else other than gardens, but it all just depends on your play style. Realistically, I can't tell you, what's going to be best for you in your base. It all depends on what you want. I can advise you on what I would do, and that's about all I can do. But that's one of the things about State of Decay is base setups. There really is no meta. There is a couple of facilities that you need to have, but for the most part, Yeah, you can kind of set your base up however it works for you best. So we're going to take a little time here. We're going to loot out this fuel station because as you can see, our fuel here is only at 4. And now that we have that outpost there, we can kind of loot this area nice and efficient. Okay, but we talked about it a little bit last episode about plague territory. As you can see, this plague sphere. Now, you got to be careful with this new system. Once you enter, or you're on the very edge of this area here, for every time you kill a zombie in that plague territory, not in stealth, so that just means the zombie is aware of my existence, and we're fighting, that will count towards waking up the plague hearts. This is actually a new system, but anytime you kill a zombie in stealth, which means if you had a crossbow or some kind of silent weapon and you killed the zombie without them being aware of you, that does not count. So early game, if you want to avoid waking up plague hearts, which if you wake up a plague heart, it starts spitting out hordes, making infestations all over your map that start attacking your base. If you want to prevent all that, just be careful when you're in the plague territory. And I'll show you guys kind of how to play the play in plague territory. For right now, like I said, we're outside of it. We don't have to worry. So, ooh, why is there just a first aid kit on the ground? That's a little suspicious. Oh, when I cleared out the infestation, when the game started and we did that mission, there was the screamer in this building, the infestation. When you kill the freaks in the infestation, which there was a bloater in here, they drop resources now. And the bloater, when he died, dropped that first aid kit.
That's a whole lot of empty.
Okay, so I'm going to throw the fuel in here. Now there's one more food location, I believe, right here. And I could check it on my map. Yep, right here. So this waffle depot, I know I can get more food out of there. And that's why I showed you guys last episode about scouting. You get up on the towers, you scout, and then you can kind of just scroll over the buildings. You know, in your head, you're like, I need food. Check the building. Okay, I can get food out of here. I need ammo. Check this. Oh, I can get ammo out of here. I need building materials. Boom, you know what I mean? So you can check, and that little icon, it says site may contain, will always show you what resource, you know, fuel, food, and that little gear icon with the hammer, that just kind of means like miscellaneous items. But you can still, on lower difficulties, I think lethal zone, anything that's not lethal zone, you can find rucksacks and houses and stuff too.
Me a plague heart is around here somewhere.
Okay, so now
probably lots of plague zombies too.
Now you see the little particles floating here. That's how I know, okay, yes, I'm in the plague territory. Now if I were to start killing these zombies loud, I would start, you know, disturbing the plague heart, and eventually it will wake up.
Locked. Dang it.
Okay, so there's no other way into this building. I'm going to go back to my supply locker really quick. Now, when the doors are locked, you can't just smash them down. You can just jump through the window, but it makes a lot of noise, and it will attract zombies. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab my crossbow that we had last episode. Now, if you guys don't have a crossbow yet in your playthrough,
gotta stay on my toes.
I'm going to show you some places in today's episode where you can potentially find some. So let's switch over to the crossbow. Like I said, right now that zombie doesn't know that I'm here, so I can kill this zombie. And that kill right there is a stealth kill. That does not count towards waking up the heart. So if you got a crossbow, you can do this all day. Now, one of the benefits is the red zombies, the plague ones that you just seen here. If you kill them, they drop samples, plague samples, like we seen in the beginning of the game to make the cures. Hunting those guys with a crossbow actually increases the chances of you getting a plague sample. So if you ever need to go out and get plague samples to make your cures and stuff like that, try to hunt the zombies with crossbows because it will net you more samples in the end.
Of course it's locked.
So because that door's locked, what you do is you take your crossbow, shoot out the window. Now that's completely, as you know, it doesn't seem like it's silent. That will not aggro zombies. Compared to if you jump through it, it will. And then boom, you're in silently. Oh, door's locked from both sides, so we're not going to mess around with it. so this should hook us up with a little bit more food. There it is.
That's pretty heavy. This site's cleared out now.
Wow. So we got food and meds. So see how this area didn't tell me I could get medicine in here, but on the lower difficulties, like I said, you do have a chance of getting
Of course it's locked.
rucksacks. Just random ones. Like, yeah, it doesn't have to be on the site. But we're gonna come back and grab that. You can only carry one rucksack at a time, so. Empty out my inventory in here. Now, right after we loot out this building, I'm actually going to go show you the crossbow sites, because another thing that we need currently is bigger backpacks. As you guys can see, I'm rocking the 6 slot. Very, very small backpack. And the area that you would go to try to find crossbows actually shares the same, it's the same type of area you would go to find bigger hiking packs. Here it is. Okay, so because of looting, we just maxed out wits. So what happens is now that we've maxed out our wits, we can specialize. And this is what makes each individual survivor unique. Is you click on this and you say, okay, so she's really, really good. I think because she's a philosophy major, it allows her, she's smart, it allows her to get all 4 of the options. Generally, survivors could only get 2, but there are certain traits in the game that survivors that allow survivors to get a choice of all 4 of the different specializations. So, resourcefulness. This allows you to carry more items in your inventory stack-wise. It will give you a whole nother inventory slot. Plus, it allows you to stack. Like, say before you're only able to hold 3 medicine in a stack. Now you can hold 4 or 5. It's a really, really good, and it allows you to recover your crossbow bolts more efficiently. So resourcefulness is a really good skill. I would say it's always good to have at least one person in your community with this skill. Now, stealth is generally a go-to for a lot of people, especially in higher difficulties. It's almost meta with a lot of survivors. Always good to have at least two or so survivors that have stealth, because they can crouch sneak, like crouch sprint. They can open locked doors without making any noise, and it's harder for the zombies to spot them when they're in a crouch position. So stealth is also very, very good. I advise you guys, especially if you're having a hard time or you want a sneaky character, early game, it's always good to at least have one of these. Now, scouting increases your scouting range of your survivor, where like sometimes when you're walking around on your mini map, you'll hear your person call out, oh, there's a feral over there, or there's a juggernaut over there, and like the zombies will show up on your mini-map. This just increases that range in which your survivor can detect zombies. It also increases gun durability, which means your guns will break down a little bit slower. And I believe when you max scouting, it shows all zombies on the map at all times. Like you can always see them on your mini map. So it's a good, if you want one person with scouting, it's always good to have. I generally don't run too many people with scouting. It's not really a great skill in my opinion. I feel like the other ones are just so much better. And then discipline is a good stamina wit skill. Like if you're trying to combo a good stamina cardio plus discipline, and then fighting, you can really get some good stamina strong survivors with discipline. It also increases your weapon durability on your melee weapons. It makes it so they break down slower, and it makes it so your character can carry a bit more weight on their back before they get out of light carry. But play around with these. We'll go into maxing them out and stuff later. I'll try to get a good versatile set of survivors throughout this playthrough so you guys can kind of see what the skills do. But first things first, we're going to get a stealth survivor right off the bat. And I'll show you what I meant by, as you guys remember, this door was locked, so the survivor couldn't open it. So when you grab on a door like this, some people are like, hey, how do you get off the door? Because if you hit the button, like the move buttons, your character doesn't let go. Hit the dodge button, and so you'll just release it. But now if I crouch, right, and I walk up to this door, I can open it. That's a part of the stealth skill. And then you can also crouch, sprint, and you're harder to detect. So stealth, in my opinion, really, really good skill. Let's get these meds. Okay, so that zombie heard me running around. Now, like I told you, if I fight this zombie outright, it's going to count towards waking up the plague heart. He doesn't know where I am right now. Crouched down. Plus stealth. I'm going to wait for him to walk out. We'll go up and kill him. I could actually just shoot him with the crossbow here, and he should not detect us either. But I'm going to save the bolt. And that's considered a stealth kill, so that doesn't count towards waking up the heart.
That screamer could bring a lot of trouble if I'm not careful.
And if you don't know where it is, like when they call it out the freak, you can open your map and it'll show you on the map. So if I had scouting, her range of detection would be even bigger. Hold on one sec, guys. Sorry about that. All right, so go ahead and deposit that. And now we're going to head over and get those, hopefully get those backpacks and show you guys where to get crossbows. So, when it comes to crossbows and backpacks, what you're looking for is campsites. And the good thing about Providence Ridge is there's a lot of campsites in this starter area. Throughout this whole area, it's, you know, there's cabins over here, and then throughout this area, there's like little campsites sprinkled all over the place. That is what you're looking for to try to find crossbows and backpacks. It's the best chance you have of getting them. Now, we're not in plague territory, so we don't have to worry. We can fight all the zombies we need to here. All right, I see a tent over here, so these are what you're looking for, guys. Little sites like this. All right, so we're going to have zombies coming in, so we'll clear them. They might give up. Oh, here we go.
That one back up.
Now, I already know people are going to ask me about the grab and push. And I don't know if I explained it very much last episode. But give you guys a little heads up on how it works. Is you dodge behind the zombie, then you hit the grab button. Now, the grab button, you have to look on your computer or Xbox controller. I think on Xbox, it's like RB or whatever. Not the execute. See how the execute button pops up? That's not the button I'm talking about. The grab is different than the execute. So what happens is you have to get behind the zombie in order to grab them. And when you do grab them, you have to grab and push and hold the button. Don't let it go. And as you see, when you do that, you can hold the zombie until you run out of stamina. And then once you run out of stamina, you'll let it go. But what happens is when you grab the zombie, whatever direction you're looking in, when you push the push button, which is spacebar on PC, A on controller, you'll actually push the zombie like this. And you'll throw it. Now, whatever that zombie hits, whether it's another zombie, it will knock them down to the ground. So you want to throw them into other zombies, kind of bowl and pin them all down, and then you can go in for the executions. It's a really, really good fight and strat to learn. I've been doing it for a really, really long time. You'll probably see a lot more people doing it now. I've been trying to teach it for a while. But yeah, it's definitely super useful. So look at this, guys. Nice. We just got ourselves a new 9mm. Some ammo. All right, hope for a big backpack out of here. Nice. So there it is, guys. We've got a big hiking pack. We'll actually equip that right now.
This might be too much to carry.
And then we'll start loading up our trunk with all the extra stuff. We got some more bolts. It's always great. All right, so trunk's full. We could go out and trek for another camp, but inventory's full, so we'll go dump, and then we'll come back out here and look for another camp, which I think there's one right across the way here. So let me drive by it, see if we can mark it on the map. Yep, there it is. So we'll come back to this one as soon as we empty out. All right, so actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over to that 9mm only because it holds more ammo. You know, I think I can get 16 rounds in it. So generally when you get a gun will have a magazine and then you can +1 it. So now
my last magazine.
now I can hold 16. So that's what I'd always advise you guys to do if you can. +1 up your ammo or your guns. It's one more bullet. Now, if your priorities are a little bit different than mine, which, you know, right now we're trying to get you guys crossbows. Crossbows are really, really great. But if you just want guns, like if you need more guns, if you're a person who likes to shoot, instead of doing what I'm doing here right now, you can still get guns out of campsites. Don't get me wrong. Hit this gun store here. Army, Navy Outfitters. You could potentially get some guns out of there too. And then, like I said, if you didn't get something out of this military quarantine site. So early game in this area, there's 2 gun spots. There's this one here and this one here. So hit those early on if you really do want to increase your chances of getting some really good guns or something. Or just follow what I'm doing here. Or do a combination of both. Arc up against that way nothing can jump on the hood. There's only one container here. Another big backpack. Perfect. There's still no crossbow, but that's fine. When in doubt, hit the cabins. Like I said, right now we're just scanning for these little campsites, but the cabins do have a really good chance of dropping crossbows too. So there's another one right here. And those are the cabins over there I was talking about.
Again?
So once you start getting a little bit into your playthrough, I think so far you guys have already seen the Screamers, which is considered a freak zombie. You guys have seen the Bloater, kinda. There was one inside that infestation. They're they're green. They got big bellies. Those guys, you don't want to get close to them because they explode and they let off a poisonous cloud that if you breathe it in, it does a lot of damage to you. And later on in the higher difficulties, the red ones that actually infect you with blood plague. They're actually the most lethal things in the game. Like time to kill. They can kill you so fast. There it is. Boom. Got a crossbow.
That's pretty heavy.
So we'll grab that. And we got some extra bolts here. But there's still 2 zombie freaks that we have not seen yet. Which one is the Feral, which is actually the most hated zombie in the game. It's like the one people fear the most. They walk on all 4s. They're very, very, very fast. They're blind, but they have exceptional hearing. you get too close to one of them, even if they don't see you, they'll hear you and they'll just start charging at you. So those don't start spawning in though until a little later into the game. You'll have to start dealing with your ferals, but and then there's juggernauts, which are these big behemoth zombies that take a ton to kill, like a ton, like grenades, rifles, the whole nine. Juggernauts and ferals, like I said, I would avoid fights with them if you don't have to early on until you're comfortable.
Just us in here for now.
Or just make sure you guys have the big guns on you if you do plan on taking on a juggernaut, especially. Ferals, they still die. The regular ferals die in one headshot like normal zombies, but they're fast and hard to hit. Okay, so drop that in there. Now, if you check those campsites and you still were not able to find a crossbow, like I said, make your way over here and start hitting these cabins. And I'm pretty sure by hitting these cabins here, you should find a crossbow. But I had actually people tell me they checked here, still no crossbows. If that happens to you, there's more cabins right here across the road that you could check to. And if you don't find one by all that,
No worries.
you got crappy luck. The backpack. So we got a couple more slots in our inventory. We'll come down and check another one.
No one here but us, I guess.
Damn, cabins only have one lootable each so far. Take it back. Your chance to find a crossbow. Hopefully your cabins have better loot than mine. Another 8 slot.
Heavy.
There we go. Another crossbow. Okay, so we're able to get our hands on quite a few crossbows. Once you have one of each type, I generally, in my communities, I'll keep one heavy, one light crossbow. But if I have multiple versions of anything, guys, I generally get rid of it because there's no point. It's not good, really beneficial to equip your survivors with crossbows at the base because they're quiet anyways. So if I was you, I would definitely break down any additional guns or crossbows that you don't need for parts, because the parts will be way more useful to you than a crossbow that you're never going to use that's just sitting in your supply locker collecting dust. So let's go empty out my outpost here. I said you don't always have to go all the way back to base. Stop at one of your outposts. The only thing, like I said, you can't deposit at an outpost is the rucksacks. Those you have to actually bring back to base. But everything else you can dump.
This is a load and a half.
You can dump right in your outposts. Now, early game, like I said, you can get away with using crossbows for quite a while. Generally, the crappy times to try to use the crossbows, and like I said, in a horde fight, because the reload time is so slow. But that's why I always, like I told you guys, to carry a sidearm on you, because if you got your crossbow, you take that shot with that, you miss, you know, and you're getting swarmed. At that point, boom, swap your sidearm and just start taking shots. But once we get enough materials, which we're going to work on right now, we can upgrade this workshop, and that's what we're going to get into. All right, so at this point, hopefully you guys have had success and you got some bigger backpacks with your group, and you also got some crossbows in your group. Now, we can push forward. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to hit this gun store. Just 'cause I'm curious. I want to see if we can maybe get something good out of there. Sometimes you can find suppressors in gun stores. And if you get your hands on a suppressor early game without having to craft one, it could definitely help you out. So we see the zombies on the inside. Now the problem is with crossbows is if you want to shoot a zombie through a window with a bullet will go straight through the glass, hit the zombie in the head, drop him. You can't shoot through doors. That's with guns or, but you got to shoot through the windows. But the problem with the crossbow is the first shot you put into a window with a crossbow doesn't penetrate. It only hits the glass. The penetrating crossbows might, like if you have a hunting, but I think these normal crossbows, if you see here, it just hits the glass. It doesn't go through and hit the zombie. So you have to hit that first and then have a follow-up shot to hit the zombies.
Yikes, too loud.
Now, when zombies are on the ground like this, you'll see this a lot when you're going in the houses and stuff. If you come into the house standing up, the zombie will alert. It'll stand up and lunge at you. They're called ambush zombies. Now, the only way to really take out ambush zombies is sometimes you can sneak up to them if you have a survivor with high enough sneaking. You can't sneak up to them and kill them on the ground. But if you have a crossbow, you can clear the whole entire building. If, say, there was one here, one over there, one over there, one over there. If I started shooting them with a gun, even with a suppressor on it, in the close proximity, because suppressors don't make your guns silent. They just make them, they suppress the sound. So it still makes noise. So if there's a bunch of zombies like saying here and I shoot a suppressed gun, there's a chance that the others will hear. But a crossbow is the only perfectly silent weapon in the game. Minus the zombies will hear the bolt hit their head, but they don't hear your position, like where you shoot from. But yeah, you could just kill them with a crossbow and be done with it. Heard a zombie behind there. Yeah, audio cues are your bread and butter in State of Decay. Most zombies make noises. Just want to make sure you're listening. All of the freak zombies have unique sounds. Okay, so now that we got the area cleared up a little bit, because I know we're going to have a bit of loot in here, I'm going to back the truck up to the building so we don't have to walk super far to load it up. All right, so you see the Z's just popped up on her stamina bar, which means she's getting tired. I don't plan on doing any combat, so we're good to keep her rolling. We'll just finish looting this building, and then we'll switch her out. Oh, got ammo. Wow, look at that custom AK-47.
That's pretty heavy.
40 round mag. Like I said, it's a pretty decent gun for, you know, later game, but right now it's just loud and we don't have a suppressor for it, so
Nothing in here.
we don't need it. But it will come in handy later on when we want to start doing like play carts and stuff.
I'm hoping for something else.
There it is. Perfect, guys. So we just got ourselves our first suppressor out of loot. Now, as you guys know, I'm running a silent setup, so I have a crossbow, then a handgun. So when shit hits the fan and you got to shoot your normal gun, generally that's when you deem yourself, all right, I got to go loud. But now that we have a suppressor, we can, you select the suppressor. If you read next to me, there where my shoulder is, that says attach mod. You hit that, and then you could choose what gun you want to put it on. I could put on the AK or I could put on the pistol. I'm not using the AK right now, so I'm going to put on my handgun. All right, let's loot the rest of this. So we just got a Model 870. We got a shotgun, some shells, and more crossbow bolts. All right, let's go load up the car. So now, if you look at my gun, I have a oil can. Open this door. I have an oil can suppressor on my gun. So, but what happens is you got to keep in mind when you put a suppressor on your gun, especially low quality ones, they do more damage to your weapon. So every time you shoot that gun, the durability is going to go down and down and down and down. Your guns are going to break faster, and you're going to have to invest more parts into maintaining them when you're shooting a lot of bullets through a suppressor. That goes for any gun other than the bolt action. So if you have a bolt action or a lever action, those don't jam or break. So if you put a suppressor on like a bolt action rifle, you can shoot it forever and it will never jam or break. It will never break down. You don't have to invest parts in it. Those are some of the best guns to have suppressors on, but obviously firing rate really, really slow on them compared to this handgun. But another good weapon type here is a shotgun.
That's pretty heavy.
They are loud. They are very, very loud, but they are good, especially against the feral zombies that we talked about earlier, the really, really fast ones. They can be hard to hit. And if you're having a trouble with your aim, shotguns obviously have a spread pattern. So what you do is they're the best guns to use against the feral zombies. They run at you, boom, you can kind of just spread the shots out and hit them. So don't write off shotguns. They are viable, and even especially in the lower difficulties, they're quite viable. And there's no way to suppress a shotgun, if that's a question any of you guys have. But there is a suppressed shotgun that you can unlock in the game. To keep things simple, there's a bounty broker on the map. To explain what he is, this symbol here, the bounty broker, he's like a salesman, traveling salesman that will give you tasks. He'll be like, hey, kill 10 hordes, and you can unlock a gun. That's how you can get certain guns, and he offers different season packs. Undead Labs has like 12 of them, and they rotate every month. So at 1 month, one falls off, another one comes on, and they rotate throughout the year. And right now, by the time you guys are seeing this, I don't know what ones are in place, but make sure you go and you check if you are interested in some of the stuff he has. We're actually going to go check that in probably a few episodes. And I'll show you guys, what you can kind of do. It's generally right now early game, not something you really have to put too much thought into. All right, let's go drop this stuff off at the outpost and swap out our survivor because she is. Or we'll go actually go back to base and swap. So we know that Screamer's over there. They will move around a little bit, and it could cause you issues at some point if you drive past it, aggro it, and it goes off and screams. So if you want to, anytime you see freak zombies on your map, see how he heard the car, he's kind of making his way over here, you can just eliminate them. If you see a feral on your map and you don't want them to become a problem later on, because freak spawns are quite persistent. Like if it's there, it stays there for a while. And if you want to kind of just take them out so you can avoid trouble in the future, just eliminate them. That's all it takes. Boom. Now we don't have to worry about him later on. I'm collect my bolt. Now, when you're going out and going crazy looting, all right, heads up is in these early game bases, there is a resource cap. So that I don't advise you to just go out and get all the food you could possibly get, because right now, my max storage, if you click on your storage, you can see what your limits are. Plus 25 storage, or you can click right here and it will show you. So I'm 17 out of 25, 12 out of 25. Now, you don't want to overcap, because what happens is any resource you have over your cap here, you'll lose. It'll just start bleeding away over time. So if I had 30, it would come up and say, hey, we ran out of storage. The rats got into our extra food, -2 food. And that will happen until you get back down to cap. So either A, if you are over capped, spend, craft stuff, make anything, you know what I mean, to use it, because it's better to use it than to lose it, right? Or you can come to your storage locker. Here, you can literally walk up to it, go manage, and then come here where it says withdraw a rucksack. You can say I had too much food. I can take a food rucksack out and go store it in a vehicle. That's why I said if you guys have extra vehicles, some people use them to store their extra food that they don't want to go to waste. So it's another thing to keep in mind. So don't just go out and loot. Only loot what you need, and let the other stuff kind of sit there until you need it. All right, so we're gonna swap out survivors. They're gonna make sure I empty this. Okay, we're good. All right. So we are going to give her a base defense weapon. We could give her pretty much anything. We could give her the AK. Like I said, I like to empty out my ammo.
You know me, just trying to make myself useful.
Equip her with the AK. Now she's going to be good on base defense. We'll switch over to her brother here. Now, one of the things about State of Decay. Now we haven't talked about this either. Let me get him geared up first. So we'll get him the handgun. Give him the crossbow. Give him a bigger backpack now that we have a bunch of them. So each backpack, like the hiking packs, are the best in the game. They're 8 slots and they only weigh 8 pounds. This one is also 8 slots, but if you guys look closely, it weighs 12 pounds. So the backpack's actually heavier. So if you can, always kind of try to throw a hunting pack or a hiking pack on, because they are a lot lighter. Now these are only 6 pounds. So this is 4 pounds. So if you don't need a huge inventory and you want to travel really, really light, then you can obviously use a smaller backpack. But if you're going out and you're looting like we are, have a bigger backpack. So we'll swap to the 8 slot. I'm going to top off my meds and stamina items. Now, when it comes to meds, bandages are good, but they are a slow heal over time. You use it, your character goes through like an animation, and you have to wait for the animation. And it's slow. I use bandages more to heal my survivors back at base when I come back, or if I'm making a quick stop. And then I bring the meds with me when I'm out in the field, because these insta-heal. Boom. Health instantly goes up. There's no animation. There's no nothing. So I would say use these out in the field. Use these back at base. And then make sure when you grab your crossbow, grab bolts. I can't tell you how many times I've left base and not had any bolts on me. And we'll keep the baseball bat. It's a pretty decent weapon. Oh, so like I was saying, State of Decay. Your survivors, you can't obviously change the way they look. They're set survivors when you recruit them. You can't change their names. You can't do any of that stuff. But you can change the clothes that they are wearing. So if you behind me, you see where it says open closet. You hit that right there, and there's a bunch of different clothes that you could choose from. Now, a lot of these clothes you actually unlock while you're playing the game by looting houses and things like that. You'll just slowly start finding more outfits. Me personally, I love my hoodies in real life and in the game. So generally what you'll see my setup is I'm either rocking ninja hoodies on my survivors, or I'm rocking the shark hoodie on my survivors. We'll give this guy State of Decay 2, the State of Decay ninja hoodie. This is pretty dope. All right, so the sun is going to be going down soon. Let's check our resources. So if you're ever wondering, what do I do next? The first thing I always focus on in the beginning of the game is getting my resources squared away, especially materials, because you want to start building and upgrading your facilities. So at this point where I'm at in the playthrough, I'm like, okay, food's good. Meds are good. Ammo's good. I need materials and I need fuel. I need a lot of materials because I want to upgrade this and I want to upgrade this and I want to build something else. So I know I want to get up to, close to cap and then maybe even more after that. So right now the name of the game is going to be, we're going to go out and get some materials so we can start building up our base. So like I said, you come here, you check your map. We know that there's some here and there's some here out of the buildings we've already scouted. Okay, so let's go hit those first. Now we have to be careful. Mental note. We're driving into plague territory. So what does that mean? Be careful of waking up the plague heart. Don't, if you can, try to stay quiet, try to stay silent. Get in, get your loot, get out without waking up the heart. Now, generally, the way you'll see me drive is I won't drive right up to the building I want to get to until I scout the area. Or sometimes I'll just park, you know, a little far away anyways, because the car does attract the zombies. So I'm looking over there. I can see it's quite clear, so I'll get a little closer.
If I take out the nearest plague heart, this should clear up.
Okay, so now if you do aggro a zombie and you don't want to wake up a plague heart, remember I told you, if you fight a zombie that knows where you are,
never gonna feel safe.
You can wake up the heart. Now that zombie just screamed, so you're going to wait a second. Give him a second to kind of chill out and lose your aggro. And then you can just go and stealth kill him and it doesn't count. Okay, so he no longer knows where I am. There he is. Sneak up behind him. Boom. And we killed him with the crossbow, so he dropped a sample. Now, at this point, I know we're in plague territory, so I also want to get myself a blood plague cure. I advise you guys to at least, especially being new to the game, get a plague cure, because when you're going to need it for what we're going to be doing here in a little bit. So have a crossbow on you. Anytime you see a plague zombie, try to take it out with the crossbow. We're in the plague territory, might as well try to, you know, 2 birds, 1 stone. While we're here getting materials, let's also try to get plague samples. And then anytime our inventory fills up, run back to the outpost.
Sweet. Drop
any really heavy stuff. So when you're looting, you might not think of it because it only takes up a sample that weighs 0.0 or 0.1 pound. Takes up the same amount of space as this water cooler, but you don't really think about it. Check the weight of some of the stuff. This water cooler weighs 20 pounds. You see right here, I'm now traveling heavy. So a lot of people don't really pay attention to that. And what happens now, if I get in a fight and I'm traveling heavy, my stamina is going to just bleed away. So you want to always watch your weight. Try to stay medium carry at the most. If you're going to fight. If you're traveling heavy, just make sure you try to avoid fights as much as possible. $357. What materials? Yeah, probably over in that bin right there. Gas can, perfect.
Screamer, better keep my distance.
All right, so my character called it out. So before I step outside, because you never know, it could be literally right outside somewhere. Check the map, see where he scouted it. So he scouted it way over here, on the back side of the ammo shop. We know we're not going over that way. We don't have to worry about it. Okay. So I'm going to just drop this in here for right now. And the rest of this, no point in me carrying it on me right now. So let's go drop it in the outpost since it's so close.
I'm so beat.
All right. And I want to check these buildings over here because I believe none of these give materials. So now we know it's time to head up here. Now we're going deeper into plague territory at this point. So we got to be careful. And we could do the same thing. You drive in. If you aggro zombies, park really quick. Try to break that line of sight. Wait for him to chill out. And then you can start moving again. Now, the one zombie you need to watch out for when you're in plague territory is screamers, because their scream wakes up play carts more than anything in the game. So if you drive within too close of a proximity of a screamer, it will scream. And it only takes about 2 to 3 screams to wake up a play cart. So just be aware of that. If you see a screamer in the road, stop your car, get out, snipe it or whatever, or try to go really, really wide around them. But yeah, if you wake up a screamer, or if you set off a screamer, it could wake up a play cart. There it is. Another bag of mats right there.
Cobwebs. Oh, thanks.
So I know I can get gas out of this location. We already got a little bit of materials. And like I said, it's always good to, you know, keep notes on what you have at base. We know that our gas was a little low too. We're right next to a field site. We might as well. It falls in line with what we need. You know, I wouldn't advise you like, oh, that house has loot in it, and then go loot the house. No, you don't need to do that right now. Focus on the things you need. I know I do need fuel also, so that's why I'm like, hey, we're here, might as well.
No room for that.
Ooh, 2 bags of fuel. Now, one of the things is there's always, sometimes there's little areas that you can't quite see on the map that we didn't scout, that might be around, and you're just like, oh, I didn't even know there was, like right here. There's actually a material, that little like overhead garage thing right there, that actually has materials in it. I just know that because of game knowledge. So it doesn't hurt for you to kind of just walk around and see what else may be in the area. But like I said, if it doesn't fall in line with what you're looking for at that point, don't just start looting stuff, because you're going to waste a lot of precious time early game. All right, so we're going to clear out this zombie. I know as soon as I move the car, it's going to be on me. Kind of take a peek up there. It looks clear. So let's bring the car up. For the zombie. Either on the side of the house or indoors. We should be okay. All right, and then you see how that little shed icon just popped up when we got close. If I come here and I check it, it says empty carport, site might contain materials. And that's just because I knew it was here. But yeah, when it comes to stuff like that, guys, you just got to drive around a little bit, because this area is actually out of reach from the towers. So you just got to kind of explore a little bit. Voila.
That's pretty heavy.
Okay, so I know I want this in there because this thing weighs 20 pounds. Drop the materials in there and drop the backpack. All right, so before we head back, because I told you guys we're on the hunt for plague samples, our inventory is not super full, but there's no other materials in this area. I don't want to loot anything else. So what I'm going to do is we're gonna spend a little time hunting these plague zombies for samples. Like I said, the zombies will never hear where you shoot from with a crossbow. They will hear the bolt impact the head of the zombie, though. See, get lucky. Yeah, no samples yet. That one did. Now, I'm also not trying to get too far away from my car. We're just kind of going around the immediate area, seeing if there's any plague zombies. Okay, so right now we're up to 2 samples. I know I have 1 in my base already that we got earlier. One over here. See, anytime you're in plague territory, every zombie that spawns will be the infected plague zombies. Push up a little bit this way, it's fine. Getting a little far away from the car. Okay, so that zombie's seen me. Now, it's not like you kill 1 zombie in plague territory out of stealth and boom, your whole plan. Like, you actually have to kill quite a few. And on the lower difficulties, like this one, that cap is actually quite high. So you could get away with fighting zombies. Like, if a zombie does see you, chat, or guys, I'm so used to chat. If a zombie does see you guys, then it's not the end of the world. Don't be like, oh my God, like trust me, you're fine. But just try to keep it to a minimum, and it's to train yourself mentally for playing on higher difficulties. Build good habits early on, and you'll be golden. But yeah, if you do have to fight even 10, 15 zombies on the lower difficulties, not the end of the world. Now, we did end up walking our butts all the way up here. As you can see, I found another shed on the map, so we'll hit this for the materials. More zombies here we can farm. There we go. And I believe 1 more and we'll have enough for a cure. Standard zone's being a little stingy, guys. Okay, so right now I don't have my stealth survivor. There's no windows to break, and this shed I want to get into is locked. I've already cleared the area. That's the best. The thing you should do is before you knock a door down, go around and clear as many of the zombies as you can in the immediate area. That way, when you break the door down, you can eliminate the chance. Ooh, see those guys spawned in right there? You don't need to get super far away from the building. I definitely want to clear this stuff in here. Because yeah, if I were to break this down, all these guys are going to come at me. Stop. So they heard that zombie get hit, but they don't know where I am. Boom. And that just got us the rest of our samples we needed. There's 2 more right here. Screamer. Nail him. So we should be good. Oh, nope, 1 right here. Man, these dudes are just spawning in like crazy. Now, the reason why they're spawning in like crazy is because we're really close to a plague heart. So the zombie density is going to be quite a bit higher here. But we cleared out the area pretty good. Smash the door down and I'll show you what you do. So when you knock down the door,
Locked up tight. Gotta be quieter.
smash it, crouch, get away. Kind of just wait and see who shows up. Sometimes nobody will show up. Sometimes 10 zombies will show up. Seems like nobody's coming. So there it is.
Ah, snap. Check it out. That
Nice.
is a lot to carry.
Toolkit. This is a jug of pesticide. Helps you if you do have a farm or a garden. Increases your yields.
Okay then.
Okay, so we got another bag of materials. Remember, our car was way down here, so we gotta just head back on foot. Remember, be careful with the sprinting. Sprinting's actually quite loud. So if you are gonna sprint, make sure the area is clear. Be careful sprinting next to buildings because zombies will be inside, especially on the higher zones. And they'll hear you and you'll have like 12, 13 zombies just start jumping out the windows, chasing you down. Look at that. So as you can see, we got tons of fuel and materials, which were the two resources we really, really needed.
I don't want to stick around here for very long.
Not waste any time. We came in the plague territory. We farmed up enough samples for a cure. We got the materials we needed. We got the fuel we needed, all without aggroing a plague heart. We did good. And that should be the goal of your loot runs. Try to go in, do what you need to do, get what you need, and get out without upsetting the locals. So as you guys can see, we just overcapped materials, which is fine though, because I'm literally about to spend them. Well, actually, no, we hit cap. So we are exactly at 25. So we don't have to spend them. But like I said, I want to start working on upgrading my workshop because upgrading this allows you to craft more things. I'll show you guys right now. So in your workshop, I showed you can craft explosives, the mines, the firecrackers, the crossbow bolts, and you can produce ammo. But you can't make any fire or anything like that. So that's why getting a level 2 workshop is great because it unlocks, so it tells you right here, it gives you the ability to craft crossbows, gives you the ability to craft suppressors, gives you the ability to craft toolkits for your vehicles, and it gives you access to fire, Molotovs, fuel bombs, and things like that. But as you can see here, I have the materials to craft it, but now I need scraps of circuitry. As you get higher crafting items or upgrading certain facilities, sometimes these facilities will require you to have special items, and circuitry is required for our workshop level 2. Now, where can you find circuitry? Think of in real life, anywhere that you can, that you would think you would be able to find, circuit boards, junction boxes, things like that. So sometimes if you're going, you'll see like a little junction box on a corner on the side of the road or something. If they're highlighted green, sometimes you get circuits out of those. But the guaranteed place to get circuits from, I'll show you one. They're the utility sites. So sites that have, water, power, things like that, substations, those will guarantee you the scraps of circuitry. I know from my experience that there's one of those places right here. But if not, like I said, that's when you start. If you don't know, you start going and you hit the cell towers, which that's what we're going to do here is we'll scout this cell tower here, even though it's not going to really reveal anything because it's in the middle of nowhere. There is more sites down here, like I said. But now that I'm saying it, you know where the circuitry place is. So we'll head down there. then after this, we're going to start putting a little more emphasis on finishing up these tutorial missions. Because when you start your new game, oh, look at that, and we found another vehicle. Beautiful. So now I know that we got to make a trip down here. So we're not in plague territory, guys. So we can fight these zombies, no problem. Now there is 3 of them. So at this point, that's where you have to choose. Okay, am I going to shoot some of them? Am I going to... But I'm going to try to do the melee like I showed you guys with the grab, push, executes. You know, switch to my handgun just in case I do need to take some shots. But yeah, these utility sites like this, substations and stuff, are pretty much guaranteed scraps of circuitry.
An outpost right here would be amazing.
You can also get a toolkit, so you see like these circuit boxes and stuff like that. That's where you want to check. There it is. We got 4, and we needed 5, so we're gonna hopefully get more out of this. Nope. There it is. So not only did we just max our wits, we got the rest of the circuitry we needed for our upgrade. Now, in this substation, if you're ever looking for a repair kit, guys, this substation here generally always has one. It's either here on the roof, in the toolboxes, and gives you another repair kit for your vehicles. Voila. Okay, so we got that. Now, we found another vehicle here. Now, you can't tow vehicles in State of Decay, so if you do find another vehicle that you want, you have to walk back and get it. But now that it's revealed on the map, now you want to check and see, okay, does it have fuel? Boom, it has fuel. Check the trunk, because sometimes there's resources in the trunk, as you can see here. Holy crap. Had a bag of food in it. Had some energy drinks. A shotgun. First aid. It had some really, really good stuff. So we'll empty out the trunk. Take all this stuff back to base. And we know it has a little bit of fuel. So if we were to walk back down here, we'd be able to drive it back. I got a little extra inventory. This is flashing. Why not? All right. And then, like I said, we're going to head up to the top of this tower here, and we'll do the scouting. Another lootable up here. There it is. Got some 9mm and some parts. All right. Let's scan. Here we go. Those are the rest of those cabins I was telling you guys about.
Oh, I wonder if that kitty still purrs.
Nice. So we just found another vehicle. So at some point, we're going to want to make the foot trip down here to get our hands on this. These are good, storage vehicles space-wise. 8 slots, same as this. Oh, no, this one has 9, actually. Holy crap, this one's better than that one. Weird why they're the same vehicle. One's just skin different. But yeah, this one actually has, the starter car actually has better storage. But yeah, we come down here, get this, and then the pickup truck down there, the Rams V, that also has good storage, so. Okay. Never really, I think this is the breaching shotgun, isn't it? Yeah, pump action. They say it's good for mid-range engagements. I've never really used it personally. But it looks like it has kind of a built-in choke on it. Alright, let's get all this stuff away. Now that we deposited those circuits,
Still at it, huh?
we can come into base, go to our workshop, and then upgrade. Okay, so that's upgrading. Now, when it comes to damage, I haven't really taken much yet, but what happens is your survivors can take permanent damage. Like, if you get hit, your health will go down. You'll see, like, the black part of your health bar, which shows health missing. Sometimes what happens is that even that black part goes away, and it'll be grayed out, and you'll have a little, like, a bandage symbol there. That means that your survivor has taken an injury. And the only way to cure injuries is, A, by coming here and using emergency medicine on the survivor, which costs your base medicine. The healing things don't work. Like if you take the painkillers, none of that works. Or the one thing you can consume to heal them is these first aid kits. That's what makes these so valuable, is these will also heal injuries. Now on the lower difficulties, taking injuries isn't as prominent as it is in the higher ones. Nightmare Zone Lethal. You get hit by a zombie, you'll take an injury. Like it's literally that common. In these ones, it's a little less common. So, but if you do have an injury, you could use your first aid kits. If you don't want to use your base meds, and yeah, that's the whole thing. But also, what you can do is you can upgrade your infirmary to level 2, and what that does is it unlocks passive healing. That means as your survivors rest, when you're not playing them, they will passively heal over time. That goes for anything that happens to them. So, but right now, we're looking good, guys. Right now, we got this mission here where your community wants you to reach out and contact other survivors. We're going to do that next episode, but I wanted to show you guys, when you start a playthrough in State of Decay, take care of you first. You're always going to have missions popping up. You're going to have other communities asking you for food, asking you for meds. And you're like, dude, I don't even have enough food to feed my own people. Focus on your community first, because those other communities, they're not going to be there for you when you need food. They're not going to come and bring you anything. Like, yeah, they're trade partners. Sometimes they might have a back, but they're not like you. They're not going to respond to your needs. So at the end of the day, you focus on your community first. Once you're comfortable and you're in a good spot, then be like, okay, now I'm in a good spot. Now let me worry about helping these communities, doing all my missions that my people want to do. But like I said, make sure you secure a foothold first. So there it is, guys. Thank you so much. I really hope this guide is helping out. I know I can get a little long-winded sometimes, but in the past, people seem to appreciate how I explain things. So remember, if you guys have any questions, ask in the comments. Again, I hope you guys are enjoying this. Hope you guys are learning something, and we'll be picking this up. As long as you guys are smashing that like button, lets me know that you want to see more of this. And other than that, you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.